I was looking at this survey recently, and it asked a really simple question. What is your ultimate goal in life?
Oh, I can guess this one.
You can totally guess it. It wasn't, become a billionaire or go to Mars. Overwhelmingly, the answer was just, I want to be happy.
Yeah, that's it. It's the human default setting.
It's the default. We're all striving for it. But here's the thing that was nagging me reading our sources for today. If it's the universal goal, why are we so universally bad at actually, holding on to it?
It's the classic paradox, isn't
Yeah.
it? We treat happiness like it's a destination on a map. We think, okay, once I get that promotion, boom, I've arrived at happiness station.
Once I buy the house, I'm there. Yeah.
Exactly. But the research we're diving into today, specifically from the Fulfillment Project, which is based on the book Build the Life You Want, that whole approach is exactly why we're so miserable.
Right. And the authors are, what a duo to tackle this. You've got Oprah Winfrey, who's probably talked to more people about their feelings than anyone on the planet.
For sure.
And Arthur Brooks, who brings all this rigorous social science, all this data. It's like empathy meets hard math. And the very first thing they do is just completely take apart the word happy.
Which they have to, because as a culture, we've just totally mixed up happiness with feelings. We think if we aren't feeling like ecstatic or cheerful 24/7, we're failing.
Right.
But feelings are just weather. They happen to you. The core idea here is that happiness isn't a feeling you chase. It's a project you build. It has actual mechanics.
A project that implies, a blueprint, specific materials. It's not just hoping for a sunny day. And the notes here say this project needs 3 distinct macronutrients. You need all 3. Enjoyment, satisfaction, and meaning. I want to start with enjoyment because on the surface, that seems like the easiest one. But the way they distinguish between enjoyment and pleasure is actually really sharp.
It's a vital distinction. I
Yeah.
think most of us use them interchangeably. I took a hot bath. I enjoyed it. I ate a donut. It was pleasurable. But in this framework, pleasure is purely limbic. It's just the animal brain reacting to something. A lab rat feels pleasure if you hit the right neurons. It's solitary and it's super fleeting.
So pleasure is what happens to you biologically. Enjoyment is what you do with that feeling.
Exactly. They even have a formula in the text. It's enjoyment equals pleasure plus people plus memory.
That people variable is the kicker. It completely reframes how you think about your free time. So if I sit on my couch alone, eating a pint of ice cream and just scrolling through my phone,
We've all been there.
right, I'm getting a dopamine hit. That's pleasure. But I'm not actually building enjoyment because there's no connection. And honestly, I probably won't even remember it next week.
Or you'll remember it with, like, a little bit of regret. That's the test. Pleasure often leaves you wanting more or just feeling kind of empty after. But enjoyment, because it has that social connection, you're making a memory, it's an investment. It's a deposit.
It's the difference between drinking a beer alone in the dark and having that same beer with your best friend, talking about old times.
Yes, the biological input's the same, but the psychological outcome is worlds apart.
It kind of removes the consumerist angle from joy.
Yeah.
You can't just go out and buy enjoyment. You have to co-create it. Okay, so pillar number 2, satisfaction. This is where the math gets, I think, really confrontational for a lot of us.
The more mindset.
Totally. The more mindset. If I want to be more satisfied, I need more money, more awards, a bigger house. But Brooks and Winfrey, they have this equation that just flips it completely on its head.
Right. The equation is satisfaction equals what you have divided by what you want.
Haves over wants.
Haves over wants.
So it's like high school algebra. To make that satisfaction number bigger, you can either, 1, increase the top number, get more stuff, or 2, decrease the bottom number, want less stuff.
And just look at our entire economy. It's an engine designed to make you want more. Marketing, social media, it's all built to inflate that denominator.
Yeah.
The problem is the top number, your haves. It can never keep up. You get the new car, and suddenly you're thinking about the next model. You get the promotion, and now you're looking at the C-suite. It's the hedonic treadmill you're just running in place.
It reminds me of that saying, you can't get enough of what you don't really need, but this idea of shrinking the denominator, it sounds a bit like giving up, like just settle for less. But that's not quite what they're saying, is it?
No, it's not. And that's a common misreading. It's not about being less ambitious. It's about detachment. It's realizing that the craving for the next thing is what's making you unhappy, not the fact that you don't have the thing yet.
Ah, okay.
I can still work hard. You can still achieve things. But if your satisfaction depends on that next achievement, you're always going to be vulnerable. But if you can manage your wants, if you can just consciously decide, you know what, I have enough, You hack the equation. Your satisfaction goes up instantly.
It's internal inventory management versus external acquisition.
Precisely. And that leads right into their bigger strategy. If happiness is a project, how do we fund it? They use this great metaphor of a pension fund.
I love this.
We all get that we need to save money for retirement, but who thinks about saving up for emotional solvency down the line?
Right. And this part of the notes really jumped out at me because it lists 4 specific institutions to invest in: family, friends, faith, and work. But the nuance here is so much deeper than just, love your family. Take family, for example. They don't paint this rosy picture.
No, not at all. They're very realistic. Family is often where our deepest conflicts are. And there's a reason. We don't choose them, and we can't just, fire them.
Right.
But that friction is exactly why it's such a critical investment. The investment isn't just showing up for Thanksgiving. It's the really hard work of forgiveness. It's choosing to keep that bond even when it's not easy.
It's like a gym for your emotional resilience. Okay, then there's friends. And here they talk about deal friends versus real friends.
This is huge, especially for high achievers. Deal friends are transactional. They like you for your job title or who you know. It's a network, not a support system.
And if you lose that job...
Deal friends vanish.
Yeah.
The pension fund needs real friends, the
Right.
people who care about you, not what's on your business card. And the scary part is, the data shows we're shedding these real friendships at a terrifying rate. Loneliness is an epidemic because we prioritize networking over real connection.
Because deal friends feel productive. Real friends just feels like hanging out. Which brings us right back to that enjoyment formula. Okay, the third institution is faith. And I know for some listeners, that word can be a stumbling block.
Right, but the source is very explicit. This isn't necessarily about organized religion or God in a specific sense.
So what is it about?
It's a psychological argument. The key ingredient is transcendence. It's the belief that there's anything larger than yourself. It could be God, it could be nature, the universe, humanity, whatever.
And why is that so essential for happiness?
Because if you don't have that, then you are the center of the universe. And that is an exhausting and terrifying place to live.
Oh, yeah.
Every bit of traffic is a personal attack. Every rejection is a cosmic tragedy. Faith, in this broad sense, lets you zoom out. It decentralizes your ego, which is the ultimate anxiety killer.
It makes your problems feel smaller because you feel smaller, but in a good way. That brings us to the last one, work, which connects back to satisfaction. We usually think work is for money or status.
But for the pension fund, the only currency that matters is service.
And people get tripped up on that, right? They think, well, I'm not a doctor. I work in logistics. How is my job service?
Totally. But the book challenges you to just look downstream. Who benefits from your work eventually? Even if you're just putting numbers in a spreadsheet, that data helps someone, who helps a company, who helps a person. It's about reframing it.
The cognitive reframe.
If you see your job as just a transaction time for money, you will burn out. If you see it as service, my effort helps someone, you find meaning in it. And meaning is one of those 3 macronutrients.
This all rolls up into a concept they call happierness, which I have to admit, at first I thought was a typo.
Yeah, that continence on the end is doing a lot of work.
It really is.
Happiness sounds like a destination, a finish line. I am happy. But nobody is happy all the time. Happiness is directional. It's not about being perfect. It's about being better than you were yesterday. It gives you room to have a bad day and still be on the right path.
It acknowledges life is always in flux. And speaking of that, they give a very specific tool for when things go wrong. The bad diagnosis, the layoff. The question to ask isn't, why me, but how can I use this to serve others?
This is maybe the most powerful tool in the whole book. It's alchemy.
Yeah.
You take suffering, which is passive, it happens to you, and you turn it into active service.
Let me play devil's advocate for a second. If I just lost my job, asking, how can this help other people, feels, I don't know, a little like toxic positivity.
I get that. I do. But think about the mechanism. When you're in that victim mindset, you have no agency. You're just waiting for the world to fix things. Asking, how can I use this, immediately gives you back a sense of control.
Okay.
Maybe your experience helps you talk to a friend who's going through the same thing. Maybe you write about it and it makes a stranger feel less alone. You're not denying the pain. You're repurposing it. You're giving the suffering a job to do.
Not letting the hurt be wasted. That's a huge shift.
Exactly. It's like that quote they use, do small things with great love. We think purpose has to be this huge, grand gesture. But greatness, in this context, is just service in the moment.
Yeah.
The little interactions.
But those little interactions are Well, they're under attack. We have to talk about the junk food analogy for social media.
Yeah.
We've all heard social media is bad, but this breakdown goes deeper than just put your phone away. It gets into our biology.
It does. They call it the junk food of social life, and the analogy is perfect. When you eat junk food, you get a rush, you feel full for a second, but you're actually malnourished. Social media does that to our social drive.
How so?
We scroll, we like, we comment, it feels like connection. But our brains are ancient. We evolved to need eye contact, touch, the sound of someone's actual voice to feel connected.
The things that trigger oxytocin, the bonding hormone.
Right. And without that, you're just getting the quick dopamine hit of a notification. Without the real nourishment of connection, you're socially starving while you think you're having a feast. And it also demolishes that satisfaction equation we talked about.
Oh, absolutely. It's the most efficient machine ever built for inflating the wants denominator. You scroll for 5 minutes and suddenly you need a vacation, a new kitchen, and a different body.
So it hits you from both sides. It ruins your enjoyment by taking out real people, and it destroys your satisfaction by exploding your wants. It's mathematically impossible to build happiness if you're glued to a feed.
So the prescription is pretty simple. You have to actually get in the room with people.
There's no substitute. It's just neurochemistry.
Okay, we've covered a lot. We've redefined happiness. We've got the satisfaction equation, the 4 investment accounts. But I want to end on their final point, which is about legacy. Because usually we think of legacy as, what we leave behind when we're gone. Buildings, money, statues.
The who tells your story idea. But they simplify it in a way that I found so liberating. They basically argue your legacy is simply every life that you touch.
It makes it so much more accessible. You don't have to be a titan of industry.
No. If you are a patient parent, that's your legacy. If you were a good friend, that's your legacy. If you smiled at the person making your coffee and made their day 2% better, that's part of it. It shifts the whole focus from what did I build to how did I treat people.
And it all comes full circle. Happiness is built on people. Enjoyment needs people. Your pension fund is invested in people. And your legacy is people.
That's the through line. We try to complicate it all with stuff and achievements, but the data is just stubbornly simple. The good life is a life of connection and service.
So to make this really practical for everyone listening, we've got the toolkit. We know we need to shrink our wants. We know we need to stop eating the junk food of social media.
And we need to make a deposit today.
Yeah.
It's the thing. You don't build a pension fund by just thinking about it.
Yeah.
You build it by putting your attention in the account.
So here's a challenge and a final thought to leave you with. If legacy is every life you touch and enjoyment is people plus memory, just look at your plans for this weekend. Be honest. How much of that time is set up for just solitary pleasure or passive scrolling, and how much is actually structured to build that pension fund?
That's the whole question. Are you eating the pizza alone in the dark, or are you creating a memory with someone?
And speaking of connection, the source material itself, Build the Life You Want, ends with this very specific request. They say you can't just keep this information to yourself. Spreading the knowledge is part of the service.
That's right. It's part of the work institution. Teaching is a form of service.
So in that spirit, if this deep dive added any value to your pension fund of knowledge, if it gave you a new lens for your own satisfaction equation, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. But actually, more importantly, share this specific deep dive with a friend.
Yeah, send it to someone you want to build a memory with. Use this as an excuse to reach out.
Exactly. Start that conversation. Thanks for diving in with us, and here's to your happiness. We'll see you next time.